Richard, Matt Geyer and Matt King joining us from the Storm as they prepare to take on the Dragons in the second of the preliminary finals in the NRL this weekend. Good morning to you, gentlemen.
G'day, Cameron.
Hey, Cameron, how are you?
Very well, very well. Matt Geyer, if I could start with you, it must be a source of some bemusement to the Storm players that having led the minor premiership by the length of the street this year, that you suddenly find yourselves the outsiders in the race for the grand final.
Yeah, it doesn't bother us too much what other people think, mate. We're just going about our work down here and, you know, quietly doing things that we think are going to prepare us for the game. And, you know, those odds are just an opinion anyway. So, you know, we're hoping to go out and play a good game on Saturday night and, you know, we'll see what happens then.
It did seem over the closing stages of the season that the focus had just dropped off a little bit in the Storm's play. Obviously, now is the time for that to be completely refocused. Do you think you've managed to do that under Craig Bellamy?
Yeah, I think the odds indicate that we were off our game a bit. We wrapped the minor premiership up fairly early, and regrettably we took the foot off the pedal. And again against Parramatta, they were desperate with their season on the line, and we were off our game a bit, knowing that we had a game, you know, a second chance. But you know, no second chances this weekend. So hopefully we've refocused, and yeah, the coaching staff, as you mentioned, they're doing a pretty good job.
Billy Slater, Matt Orford, a few of the highlights that we've seen there in vision just now. If I could go to you, Matt King, it seems like you've put your centre fellow Greg Inglis under a fair bit of pressure there, because you've declared him a more talented player than Andrew Johns. It's a massive statement.
Oh, serious? I'm not sure when I said that, but you know, Greggy's definitely a talented player, and you know, I'm only 26, sorry, now, but you know, he's the most talented guy I've come across, and you know, he's a pretty special kid, and you know, I think a trump card for us on you know, definitely in the remainder of the finals.
What is going to be the way that you approach this, Matty Geyer? You're the veteran in the side. You've seen it all. You hark back to 1999 and the first premiership. It's ironic that you face up against the Dragons again in such a massive game.
Yeah, it's the first time we've been back this far into the finals since 1999, so it's good to be back in familiar ground, I suppose. But it was a long time ago, and back to be against the Saints, I suppose it may open up a few old wounds for those guys. But you know, we've got just about a whole new list, and all these blokes don't have any of those memories, and they're trying to create a few of their own memories. So it is a bit irrelevant, but I suppose it's a headline there anyway.
Well, that moment when Nathan Blacklock scored for the Dragons seemed to end your hopes in 1999, but it showed real courage from the Storm to come back, and I think that spirit has stayed with the club ever since then, and you're going to need all of that against the Dragons this weekend, particularly if Gaznia does play.
Yeah, it's going to be a real good clash out wide if Gaznia plays. Obviously with a fella here on my right and Greg Inglis up against Cooper and Gaznia, it should be great, and probably worth the price of admission alone. We're lucky down here in Melbourne. We've finally got a game on live. The game's going to be telecast live in the Melbourne Lounge Room, so hopefully we'll get a great game and a great TV coverage as well.
Indeed. Thank you very much, guys. Matt King and Matt Geyer joining us there from the Melbourne Storm, and Richard, Jess, that's going to be a massive game.